This portion is the budget. What exactly is a budget used for? The budget is a financial plan and a list of all planned expenses and revenues. It's a plan for saving, borrowing, and spending. The FRU budget is an important concept to put into action our overall organizational plan and state the plan in monetary terms. In summary, the purpose of the budgeting is to provide a forecast of revenues and expenditures. That is, construct a model of how our union might perform financially if certain strategies, events, and plans are carried out. It's also to enable the actual financial operation of the business to be measured against the forecast. How well are we doing? It's also a means to establish cost restraints for project or programs or an event. Why did the Florida Rugby Union club representatives vote to dissolve all of the select sides? Well, it is unclear to me as to the exact reason. However, there was clear dissatisfaction with how much money everyone had been paying. Since the inception of the Florida Rugby Union some 60 years ago, the membership always had money put aside for the elite athletes in Florida. This past January, no one wanted to pay a dime more than what was necessary, and yet we gave over $15,000 to USA Rugby South so that every team in Florida could take a chance to become a national champion. If an organization cannot save money, how can it grow? All of us have responsibilities, and we all manage our own checking accounts. The only way we can have entertainment money is by saving excess money and then deciding what we want to do. Your union is no different. If we merely pay dues for necessities, we will have nothing saved for entertainment, travel, hotel, trophies, field rentals, player rewards, club rewards, or select sides. Without excess money in our account, or what's called a cushion, how can we pay bills when due? At the present time, I believe Lisa has put out information telling everyone we need the dues paid because the referees are waiting for their money. We have no cushion. With excess money in our account or a reserve account, we can grow. We can give money to deserving programs as we have done in the past. Or perhaps Florida could purchase raw land somewhere in Central Florida so that we don't have to pay money to rent fields. Maybe we could have yearly venues in Central Florida somewhere and invite vendors in to pay to get in to sell things to us instead of us giving away this opportunity. Why should every player contribute to the future? When I was playing a long time ago, I was not concerned about anything except playing. I presume everyone playing now feels the same. When opportunities presented themselves, I personally found the money to do the traveling. Sometimes I traveled, sometimes not. One year, when I had played for several years, and I thought I was a pretty good player, I watched an Argentinian club come into Florida and crush a very strong select side. After that game, I realized that there was a much better and a much higher level of play, and I wanted that experience. United States has good athletes, but not good rugby players. If you want to experience a higher level of play, you need to contribute to that end. When players see and learn from playing against other athletes with 200 or 300 or more games, they will bring that experience back to your club and to your other players. Your dues should go into the growth of Florida athletes, not into USA Rugby South or USA Rugby bank account. If there are proper safeguards against unapproved programs, then why are our leaders afraid to pool all of the monies into one big corporation? At the present time, Florida revenue is divided into 10 different revenue streams. I have just learned that the collegiate women will also split up and pay or play into college conferences, which closely resemble the college men. If that occurs, we will have 12 different groups of players paying USA Rugby. The accounting for all these different groups of players is confusing and very hard to keep clubs in good standing. Ask Lisa. She has to account for every club and now 12 different groups or entities here in Florida. That's a mess, and it's unnecessary. So what's the plan? The plan is to bring Florida players, coaches, and referees together in one giant organization with several different subgroups. These subgroups would have their own pathways to whatever United States national tournament, but would contribute to the enrichment of rugby football. And by the way, that happens to be in our bylaws, and that's the way it's supposed to be, and that's the way Florida is supposed to be run. Regardless of any conference affiliation, age, gender, every player, coach, and referee will pay into Florida $17 towards player development. The first $15 to player funding, events, travel, hotels, cash rewards, and $2 into Florida Rugby Union savings account towards a future land purchase in Central Florida. Any person can donate into this fund with the 501c3. You can ask people to donate into the fund, but that money can be set aside and left for the future. If we don't ever get any money for land, or land becomes too expensive, which is hard to believe, then that money can be set aside in that 501c3, and at that time the new administration can make their own decisions. But we desperately need land. Land for fields, land for developing our sport. Each club, regardless of its category, will pay its share of referee game assessment of at least $375 or 15 games per year. That's everybody, even the senior women who said they only played 4 games. That $375, again, will go into the Florida Rugby Union player development, or to pay those referees and to leave a cushion into our account somewhere. Each player will already be paying USA Rugby SIP dues, his or her portion, which allows them to participate in that national competition, and it pays a proportionate share to USA Rugby South for dues. Once we find out what the 2013 season national tournament dues will be paid to USA Rugby South, we will add that a portion to the overall total. In other words, at this moment there is going to be a big debate in Atlanta about our future dues, who's going to pay it, who isn't going to pay it, and who gets all the reserve money in USA Rugby South. That I'll report later. The last portion of this plan to generate and create a new revenue stream in Florida is that administration portion of the budget. The treasurer will calculate what the yearly cost will be, and that will be added to the overall total. Once the South is dissolved, it will no longer be necessary for me or any other union officer to fly to Atlanta twice a year. So we'll save about $1,400 in savings right there. January 2000 vote, the January 2012 AGM vote looked something like this. The college women were paying $475. The senior women were paying $425. College men, $650. Those four clubs, that was four college clubs, paid $650. That's going to change. And senior men were paying $740. All of you should be getting invoices for those numbers. With 398 college players leaving the Florida Rugby Union and joining their new conferences, the FRU is left with 913 senior players. If we add the youth conference colleges, if we add the youth and conference colleges, the total player count in Florida is 2,428 players. Florida has 110 coaches, 41 referees. The total club count would be 58 clubs. That is 2,579 total participants, not including friends and family who regularly help our sport. In other words, we have the potential of generating